Some stories stay with you forever. They grab hold of your heart and never let go. This is one of those stories. It happened a few years ago in a small city, not the kind of place where big things usually happen. I was a local journalist back then, mostly covering school events, city council meetings, things like that. Truthfully, I didn't expect much from the youth forum that day. I just showed up with my notebook and camera like I always did. I thought maybe I'd write a short piece, take a few pictures, and go home. But that's when I saw her. She was just a kid, maybe 12 or 13. Skinny arms, a quiet face, and a yellow hoodie that looked 2 sizes too big. Her name was Ava Thompson. I remember because she wrote it in big letters on her note card. She sat alone at the edge of the room, feet barely touching the floor, clutching a sheet of lined notebook paper like it was the most important thing in the world. At first, nobody noticed her. People were too busy chatting, sipping coffee, looking at their phones. You know how these meetings go. Lots of talk, not much listening. When it was finally Ava's turn, she walked up to the podium, paper trembling in her hands. She cleared her throat and started speaking, and right away, I could hear the nerves in her voice. "Good morning," she said. "My name is Ava Thompson. I live on Maple Street, and I want to talk about the empty lot on Elm." Now, the lot she was talking about was infamous in the neighborhood. It had been abandoned for years, full of garbage, broken glass, weeds taller than a person, a place most people ignored or walked past quickly. Some even warned their kids to stay away. It was the kind of place you stopped seeing after a while because you'd already given up on it. But Ava hadn't. She continued, "That lot could be something better. I walk by it every day on my way to school. I've seen kids playing near it, even though it's dangerous. I've seen people sleeping there, and I've seen police come and chase them away. But what if we cleaned it up? What if we made it into a garden where people could grow food, where kids could learn about nature, where people could feel safe?" She paused. I remember the way she looked out at the room, searching for a face that might be listening. But instead, one of the council members, a middle-aged man with a gray suit and a tired face, cut her off. "Thank you, Miss Thompson," he said, without even looking up from his notes. "We appreciate your enthusiasm, but this isn't the right forum for that kind of discussion. Next speaker, please." And just like that, she was dismissed, ignored, like her voice didn't matter. Few people looked down awkwardly. 1 or 2 shook their heads, but most didn't react at all. They just moved on. But Ava didn't move. She walked slowly back to her chair and sat down, her paper still in her lap, her eyes low. She didn't cry, but her face— God, I'll never forget that face. It wasn't just disappointment. It was something deeper. Like she had just learned too early how the world really works. I couldn't let it go. Something about her words stuck with me. That lot on Elm Street. I'd walked by it 100 times and never thought twice, but she had. She saw something better, something hopeful. And even when the room didn't hear her, I did. That night, I went home and uploaded a short clip of her speech to my social media. It was only 37 seconds long. I didn't expect much, just wanted to share her voice, wanted someone else to hear what I had heard. By the next morning, the video had been viewed over 100,000 times. People shared it everywhere. Parents, teachers, students, strangers. "This little girl speaks more truth than our politicians," someone wrote. "Let her lead. Give her the mic again. Make the garden happen." Within days, local businesses were offering to donate supplies. Garden clubs reached out. A group of high schoolers started a GoFundMe campaign to raise money for tools and plants. Even celebrities reposted her video. And Ava? She came back. 2 weeks later, at the next city council meeting, she returned, but she wasn't alone. This time she brought a small army, her classmates, her teachers, her mom and little brother, neighbors, even the janitor from her school. And in her hands, she held a thick folder, not just a notebook paper, but blueprints, research, photos, a petition with over 10,000 signatures. The room was full to the walls. The same man who shut her down last time actually stood up when she approached the mic. This time, there were no interruptions. She looked straight ahead and spoke with a steady voice. "I'm not here to cause trouble," she said. "I'm here because I love my community, and I believe it deserves better. That lot is not just dirt and trash. It's a space full of potential. We can either ignore it or we can transform it. I'm just a kid, but I know that change starts when someone speaks up, and I won't stop speaking up not until someone listens." The silence in the room was electric. You could feel hearts shifting, walls breaking down. After a moment, the same council member who had silenced her the first time leaned into his mic and said, "Miss Thompson, you've been heard. Let's talk about how we can make this happen." And they did. Over the next few months, that forgotten lot on Elm Street became something beautiful. People came from all over to help. Ava led weekend cleanups, painted signs with the other kids, and helped plant the very first seeds. Tomatoes, peppers, sunflowers. The city put up benches and fencing. Artists painted murals. And the people who once walked by without looking started stopping to smile. They called it Ava's garden. But it was more than a garden. It was more than just a patch of clean soil or rows of vegetables and flowers. It became a symbol, a living, breathing reminder of what can happen when someone refuses to stay silent. When someone, especially someone young, someone underestimated, stands up and says, "No, I believe things can be better." That garden grew more than food. It grew faith. Faith in the idea that even small voices matter. That courage doesn't have to be loud or perfect. It just has to be real. That change doesn't always come from powerful speeches or big promises, but from one brave person saying, "I care enough to try." Over time, people began treating the garden like sacred ground. Parents brought their children to walk through it, to touch the leaves, to see what determination could build. Teachers held class there. Seniors came to sit on the benches soaking in the peace. People who had once walked past that lot with fear now came looking for comfort. And Ava? She never acted like a hero. She just kept showing up, watering plants, helping kids learn how to compost, organizing cleanups with her friends. Always with that same quiet strength. Always with a purpose. I still visit sometimes, usually early, in the morning when the sun is just rising and the air smells like earth and dew. And every time I step into that space, I think of her, that small girl in the yellow hoodie, holding her crumpled paper, standing alone in a room full of adults who didn't think she mattered. I remember how her hands trembled, how her voice wavered, and how, in that moment, she could have sat down. She could have walked away, but she didn't. She spoke anyway, and that choice, that brave, quiet choice, sparked something far bigger than she probably ever imagined. Not a protest, not a riot, not a viral trend, a revolution. One rooted not in anger, but in hope. Hope that bloomed quite literally into something beautiful, into something that still grows year after year, reminding us all that even in the messiest, most forgotten places, something powerful can rise. All it takes is someone brave enough to plant the first seed.